Livestream is your premier place to watch live events on the web, mobile devices, and connected TVs. See new events daily or broadcast your own at livestream.com. Livestream. Be there.
Welcome to Let's Bet. I'm your host, Scott Pritchard. Let's Bet is about sports betting, sides, totals, money lines. I've been betting sports professionally, full-time, in Las Vegas for 30 years. I'm going to show you how I do it. Joining me, as always, my co-host, a man who finally has proven once and for all he's human. He actually lost a game last week. Jacob Cannon.
Yeah, unfortunately, like Dave Matthews Band, they say all good things must come to an end sometime, and I'm not a Terminator.
You're off to a great start. Just don't make a habit of it now. Don't be following my lead by losing every other week.
Okay, I'll try not to do that, big dog, but we'll see what happens this week. I think it's going to be interesting.
It's going to be exciting. We'll check back with Jacob a little bit later on during the show. To reach out to us, a couple of things that you can do. You can email us at letsbet@vegasvideonetwork.com. That's letsbet@vegasvideonetwork.com. Feel free to contact the listener line, the comment line. We take questions off this line. 866-966-4599. That's 866-966-4599. Now let's get started. Pro football last weekend, Jacob and I, we previewed the Chargers at the Patriots. New England favored by 7, the total 53. I like the Chargers plus the 7. Jacob liked over 53. Make that under. He bet under 53. We lost. 35-21 final score. The Patriots won the game. We were liking it. Let's bring Jacob back. You know, it's 28-21 late in the game. We're thinking, okay, well, I'm going to get a push. You're going to win your total. Patriots have enough points. They're trying to run out the clock. Guy breaks a tackle, scores a touchdown. You lose. I lose.
Yeah.
Didn't feel too good.
It was vicious. I thought going into halftime, we had the kind of turnover and then the stop and the 3 points. I was like, oh, this is great. This is perfect. We're both going to be winners. Second half, come out, Patriots, and run it up, and they score that last-minute touchdown. It was a killer.
Very interesting. We'll check back with Jacob a little bit later. And to recap that game, just keep in mind that one thing I've learned over the 30 years of doing this professionally is one thing more than any other, and of course it's very difficult to forecast, but forget watching the game, forget the box score. The only thing you need to know as far as who's going to win a specific game in pro football, which team does not turn it over. Whoever turns the ball over more loses. The Patriots, Bill Belichick, best coach on the planet. Norv Turner, Chargers, worst coach on the planet. I look at this Charger team, and like last year, they self-destructed. They have a ton of talent. History has a way of repeating itself. That's why I'm going through a second divorce. Hey, wait a minute. That's too much information. We'll get back to football. The Chargers, a team that had 4 turnovers last Sunday. The Patriots, no fumbles, no INTs. The Patriots, I give them credit where credit is due. They have the best quarterback in all of football. They do not beat themselves. But the Chargers, 4 turnovers. I don't care if you're playing Little Sisters of Mary. You're not going to win if you turn the ball over 4 times. Norv Turner, great offensive coordinator, horrific head coach. That's right. I said it last week. I said it last year. I'm going to continue to say it until someone actually fires this guy. So let's forget last week. Let's go ahead and preview what's going on this weekend. We have one game that we're going to feature. It's the New England Patriots. Wow, they sound familiar. They're 2-0, 2-0 ATS against the spread. They're on the road, actually, against the Buffalo Bills. Patriots are favored by 9. The total is 53. Jacob, who do you like?
Ralph Wilson Stadium can be extremely loud, especially on a home game, but the Bills are 2-6 ATS in their last 8 against the AFC East. I'm taking the favorite. I'm taking the Patriots on the road, giving up the 9 points.
To recap Jacob's play, he likes the road team Patriots laying the big fat number 9. Pretty confident there, my friend. I like the information that you shared in regards to what the Bills have done most recently. Before we get to my selection, let's go ahead and preview how these two teams match up. First of all, the New England Patriots. And to kind of follow up on what Jacob was talking about, they've had success against Buffalo in the past. Now, last year, the Patriots, 14-2. The Bills, horrific. 4 wins, 12 losses. Second time I've used the word horrific. That's the word of the day, by the way, horrific. Now, the New England Patriots, they have won 15 straight times against Buffalo. Tom Brady, the star quarterback for New England, he has won 17 of 18 games against Buffalo. The New England Patriots are 31st in all of football defensively. That's a problem with this team. Last year they finished 25th, part of the reason as to why they didn't make it to the Super Bowl. The Jets have been to the AFC Conference Championship game the last 2 years, even though regular season, the Patriots are a very, very exciting team because offense will sell tickets, but defense, as we've heard a million times, wins championships. The Patriots, I'm concerned about this team, namely because they can't stop anyone. This weekend they're banged up in the secondary as well. Now, they're offensively 73 points, 2 games. They're number 3 in all of football, number 2 in the AFC in points scored. Let's talk now about the Buffalo Bills. What a surprise. 2-0, 2-0 ATS against the spread. The Buffalo Bills, first weekend, they're playing the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs opened 3. It was bet up to 6, 6.5. All the money came in on Kansas City, only to see the Bills win 41-7. Last week, Buffalo at home against Oakland, the Raiders were 3.5 to 4-point favorites. The Bills down 21-3 at halftime. They came back to score 35 points in the second half to win 38-35 against Oakland. Fitzpatrick, the star quarterback for the Bills, converted a 4th and 6 for the game-winning touchdown, 38-35. Bills won by 3, 2-0 ATS, 2-0 straight up. They're at home against the Patriots. Fitzpatrick for the year, 64% completion. Outstanding. 7 touchdowns for Fitzpatrick, only 1 turnover. The other thing about the Bills, they can run, they can pass. Now, defense, like New England, they're a bit challenged in that regard, but they're number 1 in all of football, 79 points, number 1 in the AFC, number 1 overall. Fred Jackson, star running back, 229 yards rushing this season. He's tops in the entire league. So I think the fact that the Patriots are banged up defensively, even when healthy, they're a very pedestrian team. I like the Bills plus the 9. I'm feeling fine. Jacob and I going head to head. He keeps telling me that the view never changes unless you're lead dog. With Jacob's 4-1 ATS, I'm 3-2, 7-3 overall. Next week, based on the fact that Jacob likes the Pats, minus the 9, I'm on Buffalo, plus the 9, I guarantee that one of us is a winner and Jacob is not. Before we get to Let's Bet answers your questions, we'll take a station ID break. We'll be right back.
Hey, I'm Al, man. Is that how you get them to do that all the time? Just sit there and be an ass. Is that it? Hey, I'm Al. Hey, I'm Al Mancini at Top of the Food Chain. You are watching the Vegas Video Network. We got big forks, big spoons. I got a big mouth. I got no guests.
Welcome back to Let's Bet. I'm your host, Scott Pritchard, alongside my co-host, Jacob Cannon, and we also have executive producer Scott Whitney here. You can catch us live every Friday morning, Las Vegas time, 11 o'clock. It's time now for Let's Bet answers your questions. Now, this is where we take questions, comments off the listener line, 866-966-4599, or the email questions, letsbet@vegasvideonetwork.com. Jacob, what do we have?
We've got several great questions today. First one here is from Nick in St. Pete, and he wants to know, should he be betting on the Chiefs as an under team since they've lost Jamal Charles for the year?
Should we be betting under in the Chiefs because Jamal Charles, the star running back for the Chiefs, has been ousted for the year? I think with or without Charles, they're probably a pretty solid under team. The only concern I have, the odds makers obviously will adjust the total and the side based on injuries on a week-to-week basis. So it's something certainly to be aware of, but obviously a big major injury like that. Charles is their star stud running back. During the preseason, he did have fumbleitis. So the fact that he's not going to be with this team, just take it on a game-to-game, week-to-week basis. But please understand, as a sports bettor, friends, the information that you have, it's common knowledge that Charles is out. Now, you said that gentleman's from St. Pete. Is that St. Petersburg, Florida?
Yes, St. Petersburg, Florida.
Great. Interesting. He's talking about the Chiefs. I guess it beats talking about the Tampa Bay Bucks after the game they played last week. What else, Jacob?
Next question here is from Derek, actually semi-local guy, Henderson, Nevada. And I'm going to have to update his question a little bit. He said Vic is out. Should he be betting on Philly? And I know now Vic is probable to start. And I think I last looked, the line was 5.5. What's your opinion?
Well, as far as the Eagles go, I mean, Vic is the man. Now, he's not 100%, same way in Dallas with Romo. I mean, again, you have to look at these injuries. It's one thing if a guy's probable, you have to look at what type of an injury we're talking about. If you're talking about ribs, I mean, Romo, for the Cowboys against the Niners last week, knocked out. He's done. But he came back in overtime, surprised everyone by throwing a 77-yard pass play that set up the game-winning overtime field goal for Dallas. Now, Vic, it starts and stops with Michael Vick, but this team is still solid up front, good defense, good offense. They can run, they can pass. I love Andy Reid. I think next to Bill Belichick, he's the best coach in all of football. People will knock Reid for the Eagles because he gets to the NFC Championship game but never actually wins a Super Bowl. But it is so challenging. 32 teams, only 2 teams from each conference get to the championship game. And one time they did make it to the Super Bowl under his tutelage, only to lose. But still, an outstanding coach, and I think that Vic, yes, he's probable, he will play, he's obviously not 100%, which is important because it's one thing if a guy is not 100% and he's not a running quarterback, but the fact that Vic is so mobile, he runs, he passes, it's certainly something you should take a look at. Next.
Last question here from Fred in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. He says, are the Rams a better team against the spread on turf? And I'll say yes after looking at that debacle last Monday night.
Well, I think home field means so much in pro football, but you have to look at ATS against the spread because the odds makers will balance it to where they really want a 50-50 coin toss proposition, and they'll take 10% of the losses. Now, the Rams, back in the day with Kurt Warner, they were the fastest team on turf. So, again, you tend to play to your strengths in any sport, whether it's football or baseball. In baseball, you'll have small parks with a short left field porch, or short right field porch in Philly, for instance, so you stack your lineup with star players like Ryan Howard. Same thing applies in football. If you have a fast track, if you play on carpet indoors as opposed to outdoors on grass, then of course you're going to build your team around speed. So the Rams, they're one of those teams that play extremely well at home, but like a lot of teams, they struggle on the road, especially if they're playing outdoors on grass when they're most comfortable playing indoors on carpet. That's going to wrap up this edition of Let's Bet. For Jacob Cannon, I'm Scott Pritchard, alongside with executive producer Scott Whitney. We'd like to thank you for tuning in. Catch all the shows rebroadcast on KSHP Radio, AM 1400, right here in Las Vegas, 6 to 10 o'clock every Friday night, Las Vegas time. We're live 11 o'clock every Friday right here. Keep those questions and comments coming. Let's Bet at VegasVideoNetwork.com. That's Let's Bet at VegasVideoNetwork.com. The listener line, 866-966-4599, 866-966-4599. My website is Pritchard'sPicks.com. That's Pritchard'sPicks.com. We'll see you next week.